Hello. So we're started. What I would like to do for those of you who are regular is make sure that you can see the new screen. The words are, can you see this? Can you hear me? And if you could put, I'm getting yeses already, which is wonderful. So you can see in here, excellent. Now I can see that people are still signing in. We've got a lot of people coming in at the moment. I'm going to take just a moment or two to allow that to continue because we don't want to be repeating things. There's a lot to go through. Thank you, everybody. And lots of yeses, which is great. And quite a few of you saying you've already got the version 4 of Best Spinner. We've been seeing emails coming in all day. We would normally give you shout outs by name, but honestly, there are so many people, we can't do that. I'm not being rude, but you know who you are. And thank you everybody who's already bought the Best Spinner 4, but there are lots of you who've done that. So let's talk about the webinar itself while people are still signing in. We're going to try to take 60 minutes or less, and it depends on the questions you ask. And of course, questions are always welcome, as you know. We'll answer as many as we can. If this follows the normal format for most of the webinars we do, we may have more questions than we can physically cope with in the time that's reasonable, because we don't want to keep you here for 4 hours. We have done 4-hour webinars before, but this one we're going to try and do 60 minutes if possible. So Mark is asking, he'd like to know what's so good about the version 4, what's under the hood, what's special. We're going to tell you and show you. So it's a good question, Mark. And the format's going to be very simple. We're going to show you the Best Spinner. We're going to tell you what it does and why it's important, and then we're going to make a special launch offer. Now, it's going to be mainly demo, okay? We're going to look behind the scenes, and that means that there's less theory. We'll talk a little bit about some theory, but not much. We want you to see what it actually does, because that's the best way to show you the power. And Pat's asking if we're going to do a lifetime offer. Absolutely not. No, sorry, Pat. We're not going to be doing that. So let's talk about content before we actually see the demo. Now, look, you know you need content, and you've all heard that mantra, content is king. So we know that, we've heard it, we're all sick of the phrase, I think. So I'm just going to make sure that Josh is online and his microphone's working. Are you there, Josh? He'll just unmute in a second.
I'm here. Hey.
Great, thanks. So we're going to talk just for a moment about this concept of content is king and why it's important to have huge amounts of content, not just a little bit, but huge amounts. So some of the things would be what, Josh? If we talk about Google, for example, what sort of things are relevant in terms of huge amounts of content with Google?
Well, the more lines of you have in the water, the more fish you catch, you know. So it's one of those fundamental internet marketing truths, SEO truths that so few people really produce as much as they should. So for Google, I mean, you know, the more keywords you can hit, the more content you get out there, the more opportunity you have to make more money.
It sounds really simple, doesn't it? But we know that many people kind of don't make the connection between that. And so this is one of the reasons we're talking about that right now. And if you've got a lot of content, you can optimize for different keywords, including the ones that may be less popular, but still have good aggregate traffic. You can engage your viewers because, look, at the end of the day, if you get somebody to your site through Google, what are they there for? Some information, something to read, some, you know, they want to lose weight, they want to make money, they want to learn how to fish, whatever it may be. You've got to engage your viewers as well as please Google. And ultimately behind all of that, making money. And we all like that, don't we? Oh, at this point, I do need to mention for any Prosperative member, we're not going to be able to do it today. It's already 10:05 in the evening in the UK. We will be putting a forum thread for you about access to the Best Spinner. We're going to be doing a special deal on the Prosperative membership, but we won't be able to implement that until tomorrow for you. So content is king, that's great. Now look, can you generate enough to feed Google? I mean, that's the question, because Google is insatiable. Can you personally generate enough to have all those fishing lines in the water that Josh was talking about? We call it virtual real estate, by the way. The more pages you have, the better your chances of being found. And Google is a search monster. And that blank page, that search page, sits there mocking us if we don't have a lot of content to offer the World Wide Web. People are searching all day long. Make no mistake, by the way, Google makes a ton of money off search. So the more content they can get, the more money they're going to make. But the content comes from you. Now, by the way, that means they're stealing your content, okay? Just for fun, I did a search on the letter A. There are almost 26 billion pages of content for that. And I know it's, you know, that letter appears in every page in existence probably, but 26 billion pages just for the letter A. So I'm going to ask you a question. If you have 5 pages of content, do you really think you're going to get much traffic? And I think we all know the answer, don't we? So I just want to ask how many of you, I'm going to launch a little survey here. How many have actually used a spinner before? Because I would like to know, just so I can tailor what we say, because if nobody's used it, then I'll explain more about it. If you've all used one, you'll know the fundamentals. And at the moment, I'm seeing 75% have used one, which is excellent. 25% haven't. And I'll just do a couple of more seconds because about half of you have voted. And it's very steady at 75%, 25%. Yeah, that's cool. So I'll just close that down now. So excellent. 75% of you have used a spinner, 25 haven't. So just for 5 seconds, I want to explain what a spinner is. It's a very simple technique for creating lots of variations of an article. We call that a seed article, and it means that instead of having one article in your library, as it were, and your blog pages, you might have 5 or 10 or 50. So a spinner multiplies the amount of content you have and allows you to do that easily and quickly. Google's question really always is, what's your story? What's your content about? Now, I'm going to do something interesting here for you. I'm going to tell you the absolute truth about whether you need to buy a best spinner. You don't, because you can do this all manually. You can do content creation yourself manually. You can sit and write hundreds of articles. Good luck with that. If that's what you want to aim for, fine. But the reality is most of us don't have the time or the inclination to do that. Now, at this point, I'm normally being told off because we haven't given the details of how to order and so on. So in webinars now, early on, we actually give the pricing and details and so on. So while I tell you about the pricing, if Josh could put in the chat box for me the link to the sales page, and I'll show you that in a moment, I'll explain that we have 3 tiers available. So the first is the basic, and if you're only an occasional user of spinning services, that would be fine for you. That's $67, and that's annually. The standard, which gives you sort of twice as much ability to do things, is $127 annually, and Pro is $247. But we do have a launch discount until Friday, 31st of May, midnight Eastern time. It will disappear. The launch discount disappears, so you've got until Friday at midnight to take advantage of the discount. Here's the pricing you'll actually pay. So for basic, you will pay only $37 a year, and that's locked in, which means your renewals will be $37 a year. So that's fantastic. That's a really marvelous price. I'll tell you more about what you get with the various tiers later, but that's an insane price, quite honestly. The standard is $67 a year, and again, that would be locked in for you. And the Pro level, which is actually the best value of all, is $147, and again, that gets locked in for you. So let's have a look at this working. We're going to see behind the scenes now, but I want to point out this is just a quick demo. I'm not training you today, because we have training in the member area, and everybody who's purchased already and anybody who purchases on the webinar, you're going to be getting a link, a special link to live training, which will be taking place this Saturday, and that will be recorded for you. And I'm going to show you some of the advanced tips and tricks that you can use when spinning to make the output even better. And better quality output means you're more likely to be indexed by Google, to appear in the search engines, and to please your site visitors. All of these things are important. So let's just actually go find the login. And we've got a ton of questions. I think Josh is probably answering those while I'm doing this, but if there are any that you need me to answer, Josh, if you just interrupt, I'll deal with them while we can.
Yeah, I'm hitting them as far as I can.
That's cool. Great, thanks. So what we're seeing here is the new interface, and this works on Mac and Windows. Now, the prime requirement for version 4 was that the complexity of spinning has to disappear. We want simplicity so that it's easy for you to do spinning to a high level and a high standard of quality. And when I get into the spin windows, you'll see why it's simple now and how it hides the complexity from you. The Best Spinner 3 was a great tool, but version 4 makes it so simple to spin that you'll be able to do more in the same time and have better output. Now you can see that we've got projects here. You can have as many as you like. You could do it by niche. If you've got some clients, you can do it for each client and so on. So I've got a webinar demo here. I've copied the same article a few times so that I can show you the different features. Let me just show you the original article here, and you'll see that we've got 3 tabs: a visual tab, a code tab, and a generate tab. Now the visual tab is where you will do the simple spinning without the complexity. If you like complexity, you can go into the code window, and then you can use the special format that Spintax has. And for those of you who like that kind of thing, this is very hands-on. It's great. But for most of us, the visual is going to be so simple to use, and I'm going to show you right now. So you just click and you see what happens. We get a new window. And this is allowing me to look at each individual element of the content so that I'm focusing on one thing. It's like building with Lego bricks. If you've ever seen those marvelous designs, they make like, you know, dragons and castles and people and sports players and all kinds of things. They start one brick at a time and connect it to the next one. So although the end result may be complex, the process can be relatively simple. And this is what we've got here. So spinning is adding content variations for each phrase, each word, each sentence and paragraph. So 5 healthy tips to weight loss. Let me show you a real simple way to change that. So I've got a new variation. I could put the word 5 instead of the number 5. 5 great tips for losing weight. Now, did anybody count how long that took? It took me, what, 5 seconds? Nothing. Click on Add Variation. I now have 2 variations just of the title. I can add as many as I like. So let's do this. Great tips for fast weight loss. Click on Add Variation. I've now got 3, but I can go further. So let's put 1 more, and I'm going to show you one of the really powerful features that we have in the Best Spinner 4 that will multiply my effort almost exponentially. Because if I spend 30 seconds typing something in, but I get the equivalent of 10 or 20 new article headlines, I've saved a ton of time, right? So let's just put 1 more variation in here. So 5 simple and effective tips for losing weight. Now we have these rather nice little features here, auto spin and spin. Let me show you what auto spin does, which really saves a ton of time. So I want you to pay attention to what I've highlighted here. That's my handwritten variation. If I auto spin it, boom, I've now got a ton of even more variations with 1 click. And that was what, literally 1 second, 1.5 seconds? Add that variation in. And what may not be obvious now is that I actually have nested spinning. Now, I don't want to complicate this, but nested spinning means you get even more variety, even more uniqueness. And I got that with a single click. Couldn't be much simpler, could it really? I'm going to save that into my article. And I can't see it. I'm just seeing the original text, but it's changed color. The complexity is hidden behind the scenes. All that awful Spintax format that confuses people is still there and is used when we generate the articles, but I don't have to pay attention to it unless I want to. Let me show you what it looks like in the code window. Just look at that. Now, I don't know about you, and I would love to hear if people have a different view from what I think, but that does not look easy to me to understand, okay? That looks easy, that doesn't. So I'm happy working with this level of simplicity because it could not be any simpler, right? Now, when we go to a paragraph, you can see there's an entire paragraph here. If you wish, you can type in a variation for the entire paragraph, or if you want to make life simpler, again, that's one of the features of the new version, click on Add Sentence Variations, and it will break down the elements into little blocks that we can deal with simply. Look at this. I now have a single sentence to deal with. The world's fascinated with weight loss, some for health reasons, others for cosmetic. Let's put a new variation. Most of us have reason to want to lose weight, if we're honest. It's kind of the same idea, and I'll add variation in there, right? But I've just put it in different words, and it took me 5 seconds. But again, I can use the auto spin, so let's put 1 more in. If you're fascinated by weight loss, you're in good company. I can't spell, but you can see what I'm doing. So again, 5 seconds, click auto spin, and boom, what I've got now is extra spinning in that variation. So I can click on that. That's now added into my overall article. I'll save this into the article. And you can't see it, but it's in there in the code, okay? Now again, just look at this format. This is difficult for most people to handle. This isn't. This is simple. I can work on the next one, and then the next paragraph, and so on. Now essentially, what we're going to do is work our way down through the article, doing the same as I've just shown you. When we're done with that, we come to the Generate tab. And we've got a bunch of options, okay? So we can just sort of preview individual spins here by clicking on this refresh button. And if you look at the article here and pay attention, when I click this, you will see that what happens is the spinner will generate a new version for me each time I click. Now, I only did the first title and the first paragraph, but I want you to imagine I've done the entire thing. So the bit that will change is going to be this bit because that's all I've done so far, right? So we'll click, we've got a new version, click, another version, click, another version, and so on, and so on, and so on, and so on. And the more variations you put in there using that very simple technique that I showed you, the more unique articles you will get at the other side. So I just want to show you one more thing which I didn't show you before. So when we do the sentence variations, this little drop down at the top here allows you to work on the first one, then you can go on to the second one. When you're happy with the variations for that, you can do the third. And so what you've got is a very simple, clean, easy to follow visual spinner. And this is one of the reasons that it's so powerful and different under the hood, which Mark was asking about earlier, because now you do not have to be an expert to do the spinning. Okay. Now you can do more complex stuff if you want to, of course. There's the power there if you want it. But for most people who simply want a nice, easy, simple technique, this is what we would do. Now the code window, if you want to use that, has a couple of options here. I'm going to show you this on a fresh copy of this article in a moment, but we have a couple of options here which allow you to do manual. That's the sort of manual toolbox there. For those of you who like doing manual spinning and putting in your own brackets and choosing your own options, you can do that fully manually if you want to. You can also have what we call the toggle spin mode, and this allows you to work your way through and shows you the options that are available, and you can just work your way through and, you know, go through each of the sentences, add extra ones. So below a 5, you click on them and it adds it into the spin variations. So when I say spin variations, each time we generate the articles, one of these words and phrases is going to be used and mixed with the other words and phrases within the article to create a new unique article. Okay, so that's essentially the visual and code windows. Now the generate tool that we've got here gives you the, yeah, I thought, go ahead.
Valerie had asked, and I'm not sure exactly where this was. It was a few minutes ago. She said, so did that auto spin all of the variations? I'm not sure exactly where that was at.
Let's have a look.
I'm not sure if that makes sense to you or not.
Did that auto spin all of the variations? No, it actually, yeah, it makes sense. Let me show you. So I'll come here. When you add a variation, I'll just do this as sentences. When you add a variation in here, so for tip 1, go for a walk. If I auto spin, it will only auto spin what I'm looking at here, which is sentence 1. So that means I've got a very nice, simple, broken down single element that I can concentrate on, which means I can understand what's happening with it. If you try to spin an entire paragraph, most of us would find it difficult to see what's going on because there are so many brackets and everything else. So by breaking it down into simple elements, we can follow what's happening, and that means we can be mindful of the quality and keep it to a higher quality than if we try to do the entire thing. It's a bit like, you know, the old joke, how do you eat an elephant? It's one bite at a time. Well, what we're doing here is spinning one element at a time. I hope that answers that for you, Valerie. So I'm just going to cancel out of there. So when we generate, and I'll show you more about that in a moment, we can create a foreign language article. This is where credits are used, and I'll explain those in a few minutes. We can convert the article to audio. We can post to our blog. We can check in Copyscape if you have a Copyscape account. We can even compare the variations that we can get out of this article. Now, this is particularly useful because you can make sure that you get a good degree of uniqueness. So let me show you what happens. If I wanted 10 articles from that original, and I want them to be at least, say, 50% different, and I click on these options 10, 50, and then generate, what I will see here is a column that tells me, well, okay, I'm getting quite a few at 50, some at 40, some at 33. So these are more similar. And if I click on a cell, I can actually see them side by side, and it's showing me the bits that are the same. So I would know that I need to go back and spin those a little bit more, and so on. So I get a visual reminder of what needs to be changed. When I've done that, I can also say, well, just download anything that is 50% unique or better. So I can make sure I'm only ever downloading articles that are the uniqueness that I require. Now, depending on your needs, 50% may be more than adequate, 70% may be what you want. You may want 80%, but you can set your own standard depending on where you're using them and how you're using them. If you're putting articles into an email sequence, for example, it doesn't need to be unique particularly for Google's purposes because Google aren't going to be reading them. If you're putting content onto multiple blogs, generally you'd want a little bit more uniqueness. So you can use this content in multiple ways as well. Blog posts, you could put it into articles, you can do it as mailers if you've got a mailing list. Lots of different ways to use content.
And Eamon, yep. Video scripts, obviously video's getting bigger and bigger, but content's content. Whether that content is an article or it's a video or whatever, doesn't matter. So it's never going to go away. The usefulness is never going to go away. And Eamon, there's several things here I want to address. Just let me know whenever you want me to plug in.
Yeah, please do. We'll do that.
Okay, so we have several different questions, a couple issues here.
So I've been asked, how can we do a simple one-click rewrite? So I'm going to show you that now. So here's a copy of the original article. There we go. So this is a copy of the original article I was showing you earlier, so that I can show you each of the features separately. If you want to do an immediate auto spin, we've got a real simple feature. Now, what we have here is a light bulb icon. And I would like somebody, if they would, I know Meg's on the call, she normally times things for me. I want you to see how long it will take to auto spin this entire article. There's about 500 words, maybe 400 words. So I'm going to say go. And then when I say stop, if somebody would tell me how long that took, I'd be extremely grateful. So get ready. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Stop. How long was that? 3 seconds. So we've got a fully, 2 seconds. Mark says 0.02, 4 seconds from Leslie. Okay, so it doesn't take long, does it? I've got a fully spun article. Now, if I come to the generate, I can download the entire multiple articles, and let's say I wanted 20 of them. Click on download, and what it will do is give me a zip file with 20 different versions of that one article.
And
so in other words, yeah, go ahead.
Just interject really fast. It does not take any credit to spin. The credit is only for audio conversion and translation.
Yes. Now, let's talk about that because those are important factors. So these new features have an actual cost to us, which is why it's credit-based. So if I want to translate to a different language, I can go from English to Spanish, French, German, Italian, any of these. Let's do German. And again, let's see how long it takes. I'm going to click on translate, and that's going to cost me 2 quota points because I've got more than 500 words. So this is based on 500 word articles. A 500 word article costs you 1 credit to translate or costs you 1 credit to make audio. So let's click on that. And that was 2 seconds. 2 seconds. And I have a German article. Now, Josh, I can't remember how well you speak German. I know your wife is German, native. Do you understand this?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
I could probably.
Fünf Gesunde bis zur Gewichtsreduktion. Die Welt ist von Gewichteverlust fasziniert. Einige für gesundheitliche Faktoren, andere für ästhetisch. Yeah,
Sounded
it's
accurate.
not bad. It's not bad, was it? But the point is, we've now got a German article in 2 seconds. I mean, come on. Is there anybody who can do that fast? Nobody.
And my wife signs off on these. When she looks at these translations, she's amazed that some of these are.
I know you actually you kind of tested this behind our backs with it, didn't you? You said, is this any good? And she said, yeah. But the other thing is, look, even if it were only 90% okay, it took me 2 seconds. And 90% okay multiplied by, you know, however many of these I can do in a month is a lot of work out there that I couldn't do myself, and getting me traffic from an entirely new audience, right? Because if I'm now talking to a German audience, that's on top of the English audience, because I still have the English version here. So I've just doubled my audience in 2 seconds. Just let that sink in. I've doubled my audience or potential audience in 2 seconds. So we can do any of those and download them. That's great. But we can also create audio. Now, I can't let you listen to this because using GoToWebinar, it won't play. I don't think it will play through the speakers for you, but we can choose all these different voices. I happen to like the Matthew voice. There's another one which was quite new. Which was the one you liked? Was it Justin? Josh, I can't remember. There's one you liked better than Matthew. Was it Joey or?
I can't remember either, honestly. Yeah. One of them's super good. Like
yeah, but really, you've got a choice. Yeah. So we download the MP3. I've got a long article there, so that's too long. But 500-word articles are the maximum for audio, and that's based on the services we use. So you can create a different language version. You can create an audio version, and you can post to your blog. So I'm going to post to my blog now. Okay. Now I've set up a dummy blog, and I'm going to choose a category, which is, this is about weight loss, isn't it? Yes, so there we go, weight loss. And I can do it as a published one. So let's see how long it takes to get an article on the blog. So click post to blog, 3, 4, we're done. Okay, and here's the article. So this is live on my demo blog with a 4-second click. Okay, now let's have a look at the variations. So if we look at this generate and compare again, we can see I'm getting a lot of 50% variation with 1 click. And 50% variation, by the way, is a good degree of uniqueness. I know people think it has to be 100%. I promise you it doesn't. That's a good degree of uniqueness in a single click that we timed at 2 seconds. Couldn't get much simpler, could it?
Spend a minute, you know, changing it up a little bit more, and you can have it much more than that.
Yeah, I mean, it's really, hang on a minute, I'll just get rid of this. There we go. So it's very, very simple to do. So if we go back to the visual spinner, so what I was saying to you was when we click in here, it removes the complexity because we're just dealing with one thing at a time. Then you click on the next one, you can, you know, deal with that one and so on. I've already got code in here, haven't I? Have I? No. So what we're doing is making it simple for you to build up special nested spin tags. That's a fancy term that just means more variety within your output articles. And the more variety you can create, the more pages you can have online. The more pages you can have online, the more traffic you will get. Now, if it takes you, I don't know how long it takes the average person, but if it takes you 20 minutes to write an article, then you're going to do 3 in an hour maximum, right? For most people. If it takes you an hour to do an article, it's going to take you 3 hours to do 3 articles. So let's say it takes you a full hour to do 1 article, and it takes you 5 minutes to spin it in here, and you get 5 articles. So that's an hour and 5 minutes instead of 5 hours, right? So that's pretty cool. But let me show you something even better. And let's do, we'll do the webinar demo. We'll do a new article here. Just click on the article button. It's that simple. I can type in an article here myself. So if I'm writing one from scratch, or if I'm lacking inspiration, I can have a look at one of the 132,000 PLR articles in any of these categories. Let's do health and fitness again. And I'm going to do exercise this time. And we've got a scrolling list here. Look at all these different articles. 5 components of physical fitness is catching my eye. Let me just have a look at this article, see if I like it. So here's the preview. I could have a quick look. I like it. I like the way it's laid out. Double click. It's imported. Double click. I'm now ready to work on that article. I can do the one-click spin. I can do the visual spin. I can do the code spin. Few clicks of the button here, and I've got articles. I've got ideas. I've got spinning. I've got everything. It's a click of a mouse. Now, the benefit of this, and I'll show you the article builder stuff as well in a second. The benefit is this. If you're running out of ideas, it doesn't matter anymore because there are hundreds of thousands of them in front of you at the click of a couple of buttons. So if you've got exercise or fitness or weight loss or skincare or whatever it may be, you can get some ideas. You'll have a structure here. You can take as much of it as you like. You can leave as much as you like. It will help you rather than starting with a single blank page. Okay?
Hey, Eamon.
Yeah.
I haven't been paying attention, so you may have addressed it. I've been looking at the questions. Have you gone over the seed content?
Yeah, we're just looking at it now, in fact. So we've looked at the PLR, and we're going to have a look now. I'm going to do the article builder. So you've got PLR here, all these different. And by the way, this search feature is rather nice. If you wanted to look at something like tips and do a search, I can just filter the list so that everything that's in here has the word tips. If you wanted to look at equipment, exercise equipment, we can see only the articles that have the word equipment in there, and so on. So that's the PLR article database. And of course, you can put your own stuff in the user tabs here, but we also have the article builder contents, and we get the categories here. So let's have a look at weight loss again, because that's the one we're talking about. And let's say I want a 500-word article, approximately. Click Get Content, and there we go. I've got an article, 1 click, 1 second, import the article. And we can do the same again as we did before. We can do the visual spinning. We can do the 1 click, which I'm going to do now. 1 click, remember, is on the code tab. Click the icon for the auto spin, and it's done. Now, I've been asked if you can put an article from an outside source into the spinner. Yeah, you can. What you do, I'll just show you that one more time. In the user tab here, you can copy and paste the title and the body of the article. And then when you import that in, so I'm just going to type a couple of things. I'm not going to type a full article because it takes me too long to do that. So when I click on import, I've now got the article that I've copied and pasted in. So you can do that. Article Builder and the PLR database are 2 separate databases. So you're getting 2 separate features in there, which between them give you hundreds of thousands of articles to start with. We call them seed articles. They'll give you ideas. They mean you can start with nothing and end up with 20 articles by clicking 3, 4, 5 times. Now, the training I'll be giving you on Saturday will show you how to up the quality by putting in a little bit of extra work, and I want to talk about that because it's important to understand that you can increase the quality as well. And you know, if you want to do that, it's fairly simple to do, but I'll show you that in the full training. I'm going to pause for a second because we're at 40 minutes in. Are there any questions I've missed, Josh? I'm going to talk about the credits in a moment when we talk about the actual pricing again.
There are quite a few questions I left here related specifically to the tool that I didn't answer in the chat box. I don't know how many of them you've answered. I don't know if you want to go through the questions and look at the ones I didn't answer, or I can go through them if you want.
Yeah, and I'll have a look. So I'm ignoring the answered questions. So bear with me now, everyone, while I just read through this, if you would. Spintax spinning confused me. Yes, Mark, it is. The format itself is unpleasant to look at. Valerie, you've answered that question. Can you use auto spin directly without typing a variation first? Cheryl, that's a good question. There's 2 places where you can use auto spin. One is on the variation you've typed in yourself, and one is on the existing content that's already there. I'll show you that in a second, if I may. On the paragraph, can you select the section of the paragraph that you want to rewrite and spin, Valerie? No, you do it by breaking it down into sentences. Will it change the number of sentences per paragraph? That's a good question, Brian. Automatically, no. But if you're doing variations yourself, in fact, let me probably show you one. Yeah, so we've got, let's have a look. This first paragraph has a single sentence. So if I wanted to, I could put in a variation that has more than one sentence. So I could make the paragraph longer. But you would do that yourself in the add variation here. Mark, why would you need 3 different variations of the same topic? Suggestions, please. Great question, Mark. Okay, this is a good one. Why would you need 3 different variations of the same topic? Well, first of all, it's so that you have more web real estate. The way Google will index individual articles depends on the wording within them. And so you might find that if you have, let's say, weight loss blog for teenagers, you've got one article, it might start ranking for certain keywords. If you have a different weight loss article, tips for parents to help their teens lose weight, as an example, then that would be ranking for, most likely, for different keywords. You'd also have different types of people coming to it. You can have 2 identical articles and you'll have different visitors to each of them. Okay, so even if you were to put duplicate content out there, you're going to get different sites visitors to them, and you're going to have different rankings and so on. But if you have different articles, what you're doing is maximizing the number of pages that you have out there, and you can put them on your own blogs, you could submit them to article directories, you can create YouTube videos out of them, you could use them for email, what's the phrase, Josh? Not blast, email.
Are you talking about
sequences? Email sequences. Email
Yeah.
sequences. That's the word I was looking for. So if you have somebody sign up to your list, you could send them articles with information that's related to what they're doing. Now you might have the main article on your blog, but then a slightly different version, which would give a different feel, could go through the email sequence. And that's fine, because we often explain things in different ways. I'm doing it right now. I've explained things in multiple different ways. Nobody's complained to me yet. Well, you've said that a different way. What it does is it helps people understand, because if I say it one particular way, person A will understand what I'm talking about and get it fully. Then when I say it a different way, person B will get a better understanding of what I meant. And so by having this sort of variety of content, you're actually expanding your scope, and you're helping your site visitor. Go ahead.
And Eamon, and just if you just think about it, I mean, in anything that you have a passion for or an expertise in, how many times have you explained the same thing in different words to different people at different times? And you're doing the same thing with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. It's very beneficial to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Valerie's asked a good question. Can you download an individual spin instead of, like 100 of them? Yeah, I'll show you how in a second. Let's have a look. Have I missed any? It keeps scrolling back to the beginning for some reason. I'm seeing 3 different versions. Let's have a look. I'm just scrolling down because it scrolled back. Yeah, okay. So can you do a single version of your article? Let me just find one that I've already spun, because I can't remember which did I spin. Auto spin, there we go. So I've already spun this one in the example for you. So if you look at the code, we've got lots of, did I? No, the wrong one. Let me spin it again. I forgot to save it, that's why. I forgot to save, isn't that terrible? We've got a save article here. So that's got tons of options in here. And when I click on generate, I've got a bunch of tools, okay? So this particular tool here will allow me to spin different versions. This particular tool, this icon, will allow me to copy the existing article that's in front of me, this variation, to the clipboard, and I can put it into Word or the blog or whatever. Okay, now I can download multiple articles if I want to, but if I just want this single one that I'm seeing here, then the copy to clipboard is the easiest. If I want another version, I just click on this sort of refresh button here. And if you have a look at this, you'll see the wording will change. So I'm just going to click that and just have a look at the wording. Can you see? 5 healthy suggestions. The planet's fascinated. The entire world is captivated. The entire world is fascinated. The planet is, we're getting variations. So when you see the one you like, you can copy it to the clipboard, and it's then available to paste into wherever you want it to, whether that's Word or into an email sequence or a reply to a customer, whichever it may be that you want to do. So you can get an individual spin, which we do here. You can check the quality of your spin here as well, just by having a look at these. And you can get multiple articles in one zip. Here's another potential way for you to use it. Let's just speculate a moment on what you can do with this, because it goes way beyond what we've shown you here. I mean, seriously, there's so much you can do with this. If you have a product and affiliates who promote it, one of the things that affiliates often like is content to help them sell your product. So if you give the same article to every affiliate, what do you think happens? Well, dozens or hundreds of affiliates, if you're lucky, will publish the same duplicate content on their blog, and nobody will stand out. Nothing's going to happen because everybody's got the same content. But if you spin multiple versions, you could actually get every single affiliate their own version that they can put on their blog to help promote your product. That's just one of the ways you can use this kind of content. I mean, there's a ton more. Yeah.
There's another way. I actually just popped in my head. I forgot.
Yeah.
Back when we were doing tons of backlinking, and that method still works, we would offer content for a backlink. So, you publish our article on your blog, put a link to us in about the author section at the end, and a lot of people would accept it. We got huge top rankings, and it still works just as effectively. And so my point is, what we did was we would have one good article that we would probably handwrite usually, and then we would spin it, change it up, and have basically say the same thing in different ways. And so each person gets one version of it, but they get a highly unique version of the article, and it worked excellent. And the people published it, and it got ranked on their blogs, and we got a backlink, and everything was great, and it worked very, very well. It still does work very well.
Yeah, I mean, it's as simple as this. People want content. Most people do not have enough time to create sufficient content to keep Google happy. If you can solve that problem for them, you're likely to get something back in return. If you think about your own use of content on your own blogs, I'm willing to bet that most of you probably don't publish dozens of articles every week. Most of you. I know some people do, but most of you won't. Well, why? Is it because you're lazy? Probably not. It's because you don't have the time. For most of us, turning up that much content is difficult to do. If you spend a little bit of time on this and get the effect as if you'd spent lots of time on it, then it's multiplying the time you have available to achieve your goals. If you could work 36 hours every day, how much would you accomplish, really? I mean, a lot, right? Well, if you can get a tool that will help you have the same kind of effect as working 36 hours a day, you'll still get the result. You just won't have to work 36 hours a day. So Dean is asking, do we have any images? Actually, two of the bonuses, which we haven't even mentioned because haven't got to that bit yet, which we're going to come to in a second. Yeah, we've got a bonus download of images, and I forget the number. It's some ridiculous thousands and thousands of images, and it's a big file. So you do get bonus images when you buy the Best Spinner 4. Now, we've been asked about the credits multiple times, so let me just explain what the credits are. A 500-word article takes 1 credit to create an audio or to create a language translation. Now, let's just go back to this, and if you bear with me, before we get to the price, I want to talk about, what people have been saying. So is it as easy as pie? Well, look, if you want superb results, you need to do a little bit of editing, right? But you're going to get the special training this coming Saturday for doing that, and I'll teach you how. I'll show you some really simple tricks, and I mean simple tricks. They're so simple, when I show you them, you're going to say, well, that's obvious. But I promise you, most people won't think of them until I tell you them. But when I tell you them, they won't seem impressive anymore. But they will make the difference between easily getting quality content and struggling. Now, there will be a recording, so if you can't join me live, that's fine. Don't worry, you'll still get the training. But if you can join me live, please do, because you can ask me questions. So that's always beneficial. So very quickly, let's just see what people said about the previous version. And this is even more powerful, right? We can't look at them all. There are hundreds and hundreds on the sales page. You can see those. But the new version has all the power you need, none of the excess features you don't. So Emmy, she actually was advised by her coach to get this so that she could gain traffic to her site. right? And she spent thousands of dollars on tools and workshops, and now she's found a $47 a year tool, which has helped her to save time. And that's important because it's the saving of time that allows you to do more, achieve more, and earn more. If you can do 3, 4, 5 times as much as you're doing now, well, your income is likely to increase as a result of that. It's that simple. It's a very simple, direct, linear effect. Barry, a great tool to have in my arsenal. He's a webmaster, so he always needs fresh and relevant content. Now that's interesting, relevant content. If you're not sure how to get relevant content, you now have access to hundreds of thousands of seed articles that will give you ideas and structures and output articles that you can spin with a click. As he says here, you can write one article and then spin as many times as you require. And if you have a Copyscape account, you can make sure that it will pass Copyscape scrutiny. So next one, which is the last one I'm going to show you, Terry, huge time saver for creating unique content. And that really is the big thing. It's a time saver. And seriously, that's absolutely essential. I'm going to answer Bruce's question. Can I compare the best spinner against Spin Rewriter? Is it too loaded a question? No, I can't really compare it for you because the last time I used SpinWriter was about 18 months ago. What I can tell you is what's good about the best spinner. And what's good about it is that you can have variation at the sentence, phrase, and paragraph level. Now, if you do that, what you get is more complexity of output, which means the uniqueness is better and the quality of the output is better. So the more you spin and the more of the individual building blocks you spin, the better you get on the other side. So when we said elements earlier, I was showing you how we break down the elements. You can break down elements using the visual spinner. You can do it by word and phrase within the visual spinner as well. So you can do it to the level you require, and it hides the complexity from you so that what you're seeing is just the bits you need to work on. You're not seeing that awful spin tax and sort of getting confused. So big question, yeah, go ahead.
On the question of a competitor spinner that's out there, it only works on single word spins, not phrases like TBS does.
Yeah.
And the big benefit to TBS, one of the big benefits, of course, we have now several big benefits, but one of the big benefits that's always been is the enormous user-generated synonym thesaurus that we have that I don't think is comparable by any tool. We have nearly 100,000 users, more added every single day for the past several years, that is just constantly building and making that synonym thesaurus more and more complex. And so that's a huge thing that I don't think any tool could ever compete with.
That's an interesting point, and it raises another one. I'm glad you mentioned that, Josh, because the thing that Google loves more than anything is organic content. And by that, what I mean is real world content, not written by robots. Synonyms that are created by real people, particularly when it comes to phrases, of their very nature are organic because real people have written them. So the kind of synonyms you will usually get on the phrases and words and so on will be organic in their nature. And that's something that Google loves because that's what they're looking for to make money by serving up search engine suggestions. So the fact that there's such a huge crowdsourced thesaurus is absolutely stunning because it means the output is going to be that much better. It's a really important point. I'm glad Josh mentioned that one. So how much? I know it's a big question, and of course it's launched, so we're going to offer you competitive pricing. Let's just ask how much that is then. So before we do, I want to show you what's included because we talk about the credits, because I know people have been asking about that since the beginning. So the basic allows you to do unlimited spinning yourself, standard, pro. That's included with all of them. With all the tiers, you can create and spin as many articles as you like, as often as you like. So if you want to sit down today and spend 8 hours creating 1,000 articles, no problem. If you want to do that again tomorrow, no problem. Here's some of the other features. Now, I don't have time to read this all fully, this is from the sales page, but let me just hit a few of the high points for you because these are really important. Number one, the built-in content, hundreds of thousands of articles that you can start as seed articles, give you ideas and allow you to create new articles from them. That's massive because we know that people staring at a blank page sometimes freeze because they're not sure how to start and how to get into the middle of the article and then end the article. You're not going to have that problem any longer. We have the one-click auto rewrite. I showed you that and we timed it, and it took what, 2 seconds? 2 seconds to rewrite the entire article, and then we can generate 10, 20, 30, 40 versions from that one click. Incredible, it really is. By the way, one of the things that we insisted on when John was coding this was that the complexity is hidden, because nobody ever contacted us and said, can you make it more complex? Nobody. Everybody wants it to be simple, including us, by the way, because we use our own tools. We also have the ability, I showed you it very quickly, to compare articles side by side, and you can visually see where they're similar. So if you've got a couple of the variations that are a little bit closer to each other than you want, you can go in, make a couple of changes, and then generate them again until you're happy. So you can actually see where you might need to make changes. That in itself is fantastic if you're wanting absolute uniqueness. Best of all, you can run on Mac machines if you've got a Mac. You can run on Windows machines, and if you've got a suitable tablet with a good enough screen resolution, you can do that as well. I wouldn't even try with a phone, I've got to be honest with you, because it's just too small a device. But technically it would work, but you're not going to be able to see anything. So the basic tier gives you 30 credits a month. That means you can translate 30 articles, that's one a day, into a different language. Or you could do 30 audio versions of your article if you wanted. Again, it works out to one a day. Or you could do 15 translations and 15 audio. The standard will give you 60 credits a month. It renews each month, and that means you could do 60 articles and a blend of audio and language translation. So whether you wanted to do 20 language translations and 40 audios, or 20 or 30 of each, that's up to you. Now the pro level, which is the one we would recommend because it gives you so much extra, that actually has 300 credits, which would allow you to translate 10 articles a day, or you could create 10 audios a day, every month. So that's a huge amount of content. And if you think about that, 300 of those plus your English version article, it's a lot of content out there, and it's building up real estate that helps you get traffic, helps you get indexed for different phrases, keywords, and so on. The more you put out, the better it is. Now, the normal pricing is $67 for basic, and that's annual. Standard is $127, and Pro is just $247, giving you that 300 monthly credits. But we're going to give you the special pricing until midnight on Friday, 31st of May. I want to emphasize that. Friday at midnight Eastern Time, 31st of May, the price is sticking at this level that you see on screen. But until then, you can lock in the basic, which is $37 a year, and it renews at $37 a year. Standard comes down to $67 a year, so that's $60 saving. And again, that's locked in for you. And Pro, you save $100, $147 a year, which is what, $12 a month? And that's locked in for you as well. Now the Pro at $12 a month effectively, it's an annual fee, but it equates to $12 a month. You're getting 300 credits a month, so that would allow you to do 300 translations or 300 audios. And you can do as much spinning yourself as you want on all the tiers. So it does take time. You know, it takes time to create a lot of content. And if you've got all the time in the world, that's great. But most of us need to work smarter, not harder, right? So TBS, the best spinner for, it multiplies the time you have. So if you do an hour's work in the best spinner, and it's like getting 4, 6, or even 8 hours of regular work, you've just multiplied your own time, haven't you? So here's a question for you, and I know the answer. Would you rather do 8 hours of work yourself, manually, or would you rather do 1 hour in the best spinner and let it do the rest of the work for you? You tell me. So I think I know the answer for most people. I think very few people want to do extra work, and that's why we've put a tremendous amount of power into this product, but we've hidden it, okay? So if you like, what you've got is a souped-up turbocharged vehicle, and it's got an automatic transmission, so it's easy for you to drive. Does that make sense to everybody? You're not having to handle a stick shift, which is difficult for some people. You just click a couple of buttons, as you've seen, and you get all kinds of goodies out of it. Tremendous amount of varied articles. You can get audio if you want it. You can get different language translations. Very simple to do, as you've seen. But it is a time-limited offer. If you miss the deadline, you're going to miss the saving. So what you should do really is make a decision as soon as you can to tip the scales in your favor, because this kind of output is the kind that Google loves. Right? It's been proven to work time and time again. Anybody who tells you that spinning is dead is wrong. Bad spinning is dead. But bad spinning has mainly been caused by the difficulty people have looking at all those brackets and trying to work out what they're getting as the output. With the best spinner 4, you have the visual spinner, which makes it clear and simple, and you're not going to get confused. It's all very straightforward. You can look at a bunch of articles to compare them one at a time. You can generate the output to a zip file. You can do it all without having to get into the complexity of what we call spin tags. But if you're somebody who's an expert in that kind of thing, you have full power under the hood. So if you like, the automatic transmission also has a full stick shift manual gearbox as well. And if you want to use that, that's fine. But let's be honest, most of us probably won't. So I've got to remind you, after midnight on Friday, 31st of May, that launch discount is going away. It's going to be too late, so please don't miss out. You got to take action pretty quickly now. Can we just put the? I'm going to put the link back to the sales page for you in the chat box, and I'm going to show you the. Please.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
That discount is already applied. So if you go to thebestspinner.com, the discount is already applied. There's nothing special you need to do. There's no coupon code. It will be automatically applied when you click the order button.
So when we get to the order page here, the order buttons at the bottom, what I want to show you that Josh was saying is $67 is the normal price for the very basic one. But we've already embedded, Josh has embedded the code for you, so you don't even have to type in a coupon code. It's in there for you to save you more time and effort. So $37 is the discounted launch price, $67 is the normal price, but when you click on this, the code for discount is embedded. The standard, which is normally $127 a year, that's also embedded with a code that saves you $60. You're only going to pay $67 a year, and it locks in the price. And then the Pro, which should be $247, and it will be midnight on Friday, that again has this special locked-in discount for you. Let me just show you what it looks like. So it should be $247, but as you'll see at the bottom, oh no, oh, you know what's happened? That's because I've already logged in and bought this, haven't I? So it's recognizing. So what it will do for you when you click on that, let me just go back, it will show you the 147 pricing. Okay, so these codes are already built in for you. Just come out of there because I could hear myself talking then on the sales video. So the code is actually built in for you. You don't even have to put in a discount code. How simple is that? Marvin, is the basic Mac compatible? All the tiers are compatible with Mac and Windows. Can you buy more than one license, Noel, on the same email address? Yes, actually you can, but you will have to wait several minutes because there's a built-in mechanism to prevent you buying twice by accident, but you can buy as many as you want to, and you get a new login for each of them, but you do have to allow a few minutes, I think it might be 10 minutes, Josh, before you buy a second version, because that's just to prevent people doing it by accident, but you can be buying as many as you need for your work partners. Cheryl is asking, would you use multiple articles that are different on the same blog or only on different blogs? Okay, that's a good question. So this is really about where would you use multiple contents. Depending on how different they are, I might put them on the same blog. Because if you have an article that, for teenage weight loss, for example, that suddenly makes more sense for parents, then yes, that might make sense to have the two articles and link between them and say, well, this one goes into a little bit more detail for you. The other thing you can do, if you want to, is use the articles, the extra articles, as Josh mentioned, which is to get content on other people's blogs for free in exchange for a link back to your blog. And you'd be surprised how many people will accept that kind of a deal, because creating content is a problem for every website owner. And you know, if you reach out to 10 or 20 people, you're going to get a few links out of that, maybe 2 or 3, if you offer them a good quality article. So if you've got articles that you don't want to put on your blog because you've already got one very similar, you can use them elsewhere. Don't waste them. But many people will actually have multiple blogs on the same niche and then sort of spread out the articles across those different blogs. If you're doing that, and we'll cover this in the training more on Saturday, if you're doing that, just don't cross-link between your own blogs.
And of course, you can have different directories for different languages too, since you can translate your articles into different languages.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so that would be another way to use them as well. That's a good point, actually. Michael's asking, how do we get the Saturday training? Everybody who buys is going to get a link, which we'll send out probably tomorrow, I think. But you'll get a link before Saturday, and you will also get the recording afterwards. So if your time zone is awkward to meet with me, 4 p.m. in the UK is going to be 11 a.m. Eastern on Saturday. If that's not a good time for you, don't worry, we'll send you the recording. But if you can come live, please do, because you get to ask questions. Do you get access to the full seed database in the basic version? Great question, Glennis. Yes, all the tiers give you exactly the same features apart from the credits, and the credits are only used for language translation and audio creation. Okay, so Regini, I'm sorry, I'm not quite sure how you say your name. You just bought this, you're waiting for the login information to get the bonus. Yes, that's correct. You'll get the bonus images and files, in a link to them in the welcome email. That normally will come through fairly quickly within a few minutes after purchase. Do check your spam folder if you haven't seen that yet. Mark is saying, I'm not happy, I'm not with the Woolwich. I'm not quite sure what that means, but there's an exclamation point at the end of it. So Andre is asking about the discounted purchase price. The launch price is already discounted automatically because Josh has actually kind of burned in the discount code for you so that you don't have to put in any codes. Okay, so when you purchase, the purchase price during the launch time is actually going to build in that discount for you automatically. So you're not having to mess about with coupon codes and copying and pasting and so on. Mark is asking, is there a way to buy extra credits? Honestly, Mark, I don't know right now. We did discuss this earlier today. 2 people have asked because they seem to have a need for that. They're going to be doing quite a lot with this, and I think they're going to be selling the service on selling articles to people. So if there is a need for that, we will be able to make that possible. But most people will find that if you go, certainly for the pro version, you should have more than enough to be able to do what most of us would be likely to do. Let's have a look. So I'm just scrolling back through these. If I've missed your question, I apologize for the moment. Bruce, that's a good question. I don't know the answer to that, but we'll come up with an answer. Can I upgrade from one level to the next one by paying the difference in the next few weeks or months? I think the way the subscriptions work, probably not. We might have to do that manually, but if you did want to upgrade, I think we'd have to do something manually with that. I'm not sure if there's a way to do it within the Pay Kickstart system. Paul's asking the same question. I don't know if you know this one, do you, Josh? Can they start with the basic and then upgrade? I think it would have to be either done manually or kind of by the new version. I don't think there's a way. I don't think there's a direct upgrade, is there?
I don't think so.
No. Merv is asking, can you take an article from a different language and have the audio in that language? No, unfortunately, you can't. Does the API allow unlimited spinning? No, there are daily limits, which I think is going to be 250 API calls a day. David was away on a work call and he was asking about auto grammar check. No, there's no auto grammar check in that. You could certainly,
your browser will do that for you.
Yeah, and you can put it into Word if you're doing that. April's saying this is fantastic updates. Thanks for that. Yeah, I mean, it's really powerful without the complexity, and this is something I would like to emphasize. You now have all the power that the best spinner has always had, but you have it in the most simple form possible. And I showed you very quickly how you can spin things and so on. But honestly, when we get into the training and so on, you'll see even more. It is power without complexity, and that means you're more likely to use it and get the benefit from it. Sorry, go ahead, Josh.
Yeah, I was just going to say we had a lot of people with TBS3 who actually complained because we had so many features that nobody used. I mean, we can see what features are used, and a bunch of them nobody ever used. And then we had a few features that we didn't have in TBS3. So we removed all those features we didn't need. We added the features that people were asking for, and we kept all the powerful features that everybody used.
Yeah, I mean, we've had a lot of feedback on what people want and what they did use and what they didn't use. And so, it just makes sense. Let's give you the 90% or the 80%. Let's talk about the Pareto principle. The 20% of features that will give you 80% plus of the needs that you have are easier to use. If we give you every single tool in the box and all you need is a hammer and a screwdriver, the rest of them are going to sit there. But the reality is you've got to pay for them, right? So if you buy the hammer and the screwdriver, you'll do 95% of everything you ever need to do in a house, and you've only paid for a hammer and a screwdriver. What we're doing is giving you the tools that you need, the power that you need, and the simplicity that you want at a cost that is as low as we could possibly make. And honestly, those prices are extremely good for what we're offering and what you can do with it. I mean, we've only touched a little bit on some of the things that you can do. It's absolutely staggering what you can do. Let me just remind you what the current launch pricing is, which this pricing that you're seeing on screen now is already discounted on the sales page for you. No coupon codes needed. You just hit the buy button. This is what you will pay. This is what you will lock in. $37 a year for basic. That's stupid pricing. Standard is $67 a year. Again, that gets locked in. That's stupid pricing. Now, the pro level with the 300 credits a month at $147 is absolutely incredible value. And again, that pricing gets locked in. So do we need to answer any more questions, Josh? Have I missed anything of importance? If you do have any other questions, by the way, you can email us later if you need to. But I'm just trying to make sure we haven't missed anything that we needed. And bear in mind, this wasn't... Yeah, we've gone over again. What's new? So Bruce is asking the only difference between the levels of the credits. Absolutely. So the spinning and the generation and the seed articles, all the tiers have the same access. The difference in the levels is between how many audios and language translations you can do every month. Excuse me. So if you have some more questions, we'll take them separately by email and so on. Mike very quickly wanted me to go over the translations one more time, which I will do. So what we've got, Mike, is we've got a visual editor, we've got a code editor, and we've got to generate. Once you've finished with an article and you've done all your spinning, you'd come to the Generate tab over here, and then we have the option to translate into different languages. Let me show you how easy that is. You click on the world icon for languages, yeah, okay. We've done German. Let's do French and translate, and let's have a look. How long is that going to take? 2 seconds. 5 suggestions. Simple pour perdre du poids, le monde est captivé par le prêt des points. C'est un peu... Yeah, so it's French. Yeah, we got French. Let's see, should we do Spanish? Come on, let's see how long it takes. Wow, 2 seconds. I mean, could it be simpler? Could it be simpler? I've just done 3 languages in 6 seconds. Come on, right? 3 languages in 6 seconds. Let's have some fun. Let's do Russian and do that one. So that's 4 languages in 8 seconds. I mean, I don't even read Russian. That looks pretty complex to me. So 15 major languages. Even if you only used one of them, you're doubling your potential worldwide audience. Mike is saying that's amazing. Yeah, it really is, isn't it? And by the way, we can copy the article now from here to our clipboard to paste into Word or our blog or whatever. And we can post the translation to our blog. I'll tell you what, let me just do that. I'll just for fun, let me publish that to my blog so you can have a look at it. And that's going to take 5 seconds, and that's giving me these weird characters, I think, are because it's Cyrillic, is it? And so it may not even display properly on my blog, I don't know. Yeah, I have no idea what that is. I don't know what it says because it's Cyrillic, it's Russian, but it's posted to my blog that quick. I mean, how quick is that? Now let's just do, oh, come on, I'm going to do Italian for fun and post that. I want you to see how much time you're saving, okay? I've created an Italian version of the article. I put it on my blog and it took me 7 seconds. 7 seconds. If you're not impressed right now, I don't know what will impress you, honestly, because that impresses me enormously. And Josh and I have been involved in the development of this. We're blown away by what it can do. Did you see it was one click, one click, one click? Simplicity beyond belief, power beyond belief. When you marry the two together, wow, can you do some good things? Can you use different domains for the upload? Okay, good question. I've got a single demo blog here, but you can add as many blogs as you like. So if you've got 10 different blogs, add them in. You put in the URL, username, which has to be an editor, by the way, but we go over that in the training within the help area. Put in the password, you've added your new blog. Then when you're posting, you select your blog from this drop down box. If you've got 10 of them, 10 blogs will show here. You choose the one you like. It will read the categories from that blog. Choose your category, choose whether it's published or draft, hit the button, and you've got a new blog post. I mean, it is literally, it's simple beyond belief. I can't emphasize too much just how easy and powerful this is. Anything to say, Josh? Have I missed anything?
I don't think so. You're pretty comprehensive there.
Okay. Max is asking, I think a couple of people have been asking this, and I'm not sure, so I'm going to discuss it with Josh in front of you, as it were. Normally with our licenses, it's for one person to use, but we've got a few people asking Josh whether they can let their virtual assistants use it. I don't know the honest answer. Normally we say, yeah.
Well, usually we say they can, but only want to be logged in at the same time. So I'm assuming that would be the case. We'd have to get with John as far as the technical aspects of that, but I think that's probably what we'd do. Yeah,
so one person logged in, and if you try to log in as well, that will log you out. But bear in mind, you can do unlimited spinning. So if you've got a virtual assistant, that's fine. So okay, let me just come out of the translation. So the generate tool also allows you to do the audio, and that's English language audio, of course, in these different voices. These are the different accents, and you've got post to your blog here. You can compare articles, download articles. The generate and compare articles is pretty good if you're very keen for specific levels of uniqueness, because you can actually look at the individual articles. So articles version 7 compared to article version 5, you can see in the yellow where the similarities are. So if I went into those particular sections of the seed article, I could spin them a little bit more and make this even higher than 49%. I've got a 50% there. I mean, look, it's right in front of you. No thinking is required. Really, seriously, no thinking is required. This doesn't get any easier. Okay.
One last question. Do the credits roll over? A lot of people asked it.
Yes, okay.
They don't. That would kind of defeat the purpose. Unfortunately, we can't do that.
Yeah, it's a monthly. Use it or lose it. Yeah. And please do make use of this, because the whole point of this is to make it easy for you to get content out there. And the only way you're going to do that is by using this. But because it's so simple, we think you will use it more than people use the best spinner. And we know people used the best spinner a great deal. We actually did some calcs today on how much it was being used at the moment. It was some ridiculous number today, 180,000 or something, accesses in a few hours. So it's still being used tremendously. We expect this to be used even more because it's so simple. And when I keep emphasizing that, because when it's simple, you're going to use it, and if you use it, you'll get the benefits. And that's really what we want, because we would love to feature you as a testimonial the next time we promote this. We'd love to hear your success story.
By the way, there are something like 500 or 600 testimonials on the homepage from GS3, and we had to cut it off. We stopped it a long time ago, the testimonials were coming in.
I'm just going to mention something on that, because we actually had a lot more testimonials than that anyway. But one of the policies we had as a business is if they were linking to websites that we wouldn't want to show, we couldn't show the testimonial. And we had some people who were promoting, alcohol and adult things and that sort of stuff that we just don't want to be associated with. So the actual number of testimonials was far higher than the 500 or 600 that we show, but some of them were linking to sites that we really wouldn't want to be associated with. So Ralph, the answer for the VA, the virtual assistant login, you can let them log in but you won't be able to log in at the same time. So it's one person can log in. So if you've got a virtual assistant, you can let them do this for you. Yes, absolutely. You can do that. Yeah. Okay, so I think at that point, we're going to say thank you very much for joining us. I'm going to put the link again one last time in the chat box for where to get this. And I'm going to put the link in here, showing you on screen. So you can see on screen what we've got. We've got a sales video that tells you a little bit more about it. Well, it can just be just the best spin, and it will automatically, yeah. So the best spin will automatically read out.
Right.
When you click on Order Now up at the top here, it will drop you down to the special section, which gives you the 3 options. Excuse me. We do recommend the Pro because it's the best value. It really is the best value. But even the basic, you know, it's an insane price, and you can spin yourself as much as you want, and you still get 30 credits every month to create audio or language translations. And that's 1 article a day, which is, you know, for most people, you're probably not putting that many articles out now anyway. So 1 article a day, every day for the next year. That's a lot of articles, isn't it? You know, 365 pages of extra content. And that's before you do the normal English one as well. Okay, so Jill, one final answer there. If you're doing spinning yourself, when you're logged in, you can spin as many times as you like. When you're logged into the web interface, you can spend as long as you like spinning. So if you want to spin 10 articles or 50 articles or 100, if you want to go through every one of the 132,000 PLR articles in the database, you can. You can do as much of that as you want. The credits are used for audio and language translation. So the spinning, the core function, if you like, you can use as much as you want to. Bruce, are we limited to 30 articles a month? No, you can do as many articles as you like. You're limited to 30 language translations per month at basic level, or 30 audio. But for the spinning and the articles, you can do as many as you like. Right? Hopefully that clarifies that question for you.
One last one here, affiliate commission. We do have an affiliate program, and it's 50% commission. So if you want to promote it, go to prosperative.com, and there's an affiliates page there. You can get an affiliate link for this and for any of our other tools as well.
Yeah, that's a great point. And it's a tool that we know sells well, always has, because it helps people achieve what they want to do with less work. And that is working smarter, not harder. And on Saturday with the training, which you'll all get a link to those of you who've bought this, we're going to cover some tricks on increasing the quality of your output using very simple techniques, which are so simple, when I explain them to you, you're going to go, well, that's obvious. But I promise you, they're not obvious until you've had them explained. And then at that point, you think, oh, well, he's just telling me things that are obvious. But really, they're quite good little tips to have. And you all get that, and you get the recording as well. Anything else we need to cover, Josh? Because I think we've gone way over time as usual.
I don't think so. Get it and pump out some content.
That's a great point. Thanks, everybody. And bear in mind, you've got until Friday at midnight to get this at the launch discount. So please take action immediately to save missing out. Thanks very much, and we'll see you all on the next webinar.